I'd like to welcome Rachel here. She is someone that I first met in person more than 5 years ago, and you've been hearing her on the podcast with me for nearly that long. She and her company offer residential property in Central America. And you know what, years ago, I was thinking, where can I find a reliable company, someone that has a long track record? And they've been doing that in Central America for more than 20 years. So welcome, Rachel.
Thank you, Keith. It's so great to be back. And when you said 5 years, I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe time has passed so quickly. There's just been so many exciting things going on. So it's neat to see that this relationship has grown so much over the last 5 years. So thanks for the opportunities, and I'm glad we're able to catch up every now and again and catch your listeners up as well.
Yeah, it's remarkable how it's grown. And the products that you offer have grown. And one thing that you offer, because it gives people a slice of paradise for a very affordable price, and that's your tropical tiny homes. And you do offer them in a few different countries and different landscapes. So tell us about those, maybe through a lens of pros and cons across the different countries.
So we've been operating as a development company in Latin America over the last 25 years. And what we realized about 2, 3 years ago is there was this whole movement of tiny homes. And I'm sure many of you have seen the HGTV shows or the shows on tiny homes around the world that are just so exciting and charming and cute. And we realized that in this part of the world, it really isn't captured well by developers. Maybe every now and again, you get a developer who's building a community here, another developer who's building a community here, but we haven't found a developer like us who's doing it in multiple countries. And so recently, I say recently, 3 years ago, we started putting pen to paper, planning these projects and these developments. And so we ultimately ended up with tiny homes in Belize, Panama, and also Nicaragua. And each country does have pros, each country has cons. And it just depends on what somebody is looking for when it comes to real estate ownership. And countries too, you may see that Belize is better for people who like diving, who prefer the Caribbean. Pros of this country is that there's no capital gains tax in Belize. There's very low rental income tax, 1.75%. English is the official language, but the con is where we're located as an island. We're on Ambergris Key, and as a result, it's more expensive out here. Real estate is more expensive. We have to ship materials out to the island. The homes that we're building specifically are over the water as well, so there's an extra cost for that too. But generally, Belize is a really great place for people to start out who are looking at real estate investments, because it is English and it's comfortable, it's common law, it's familiar, it's easy to get to from a lot of countries because it is so close to North America. And then there's Nicaragua. Nicaragua is actually the country that started my Central American journey. I went there in 2010 for the first time and returned 2 years later for what I thought was going to be 3 months. I ended up there for about a year and a half, and then do end up going back and forth. But Nicaragua, it's actually the screen behind me, the green screen behind me is from our pool there. Nicaragua is a stunning country. It's a very beautiful country. It's very similar in geography to Costa Rica. It's a lot more affordable than Costa Rica. It's probably one of the most inexpensive countries within Central America. And pros about this country is the affordability, the landscape. It's not as popular as other countries in the region, so there's more opportunity for appreciation, which can also be seen as a con too, because it's not quite up there when it comes to rental income, because it's just not as popular as a Costa Rica, but it does have tons of potential for appreciation. At our property, Grand Pacific, we've been operating it as a resort for the last 15 years. So there's definitely the rental income that's coming in, but just as a country as a whole, it may not necessarily be as high on that real estate investment curve. And then I would say that the pro, I mentioned this before, is the affordability. I would say that within that country there specifically, you're seeing homes, the tiny homes within the ECI property communities are starting at about $94,000, $95,000. So super affordable.
Yeah.
And then Panama, so we'll just jump to Panama pros and cons. The pros is a very strong economy. It has the Panama Canal. So you have the cruises and the ships going through the canal, bringing money in regularly. So the country's developing. There's strong infrastructure there. It's strong in the tourism market. The banking industry is also quite strong there. And those homes specifically in Panama are located in the mountains or a cooler climate, the tropical highlands, we'll say. But one of the cons to ownership of real estate in Panama is that if you want to own it in a foreign company, a foreign IBC, whether it's a Nevada LLC or even a Belize IBC, you have to register your company to do business in Panama, and it gets fairly expensive to do so. So if you're holding it in your personal name or Panama Corporation, it's fine. but there is always, that consideration too, because we do get that question quite a bit from people who want to put the property in the name of their US LLC or some other entity. But they're all very different. The countries are very different. Belize is Caribbean, Nicaragua, where we're at, is on the Pacific. Really incredible waves for surfing and just a stunning Pacific beach. And then in Panama, you have the tropical highlands. So very different climates and geographies based on what somebody likes and prefers.
Sure. And I have been in each one of the places myself, so I can appreciate the geographic variability. For example, in Panama, they are in the highlands where often the high temperatures just get up to the 70s and 80s, and it doesn't get scorchingly hot, but you're not close to the beach with the Panama ones like you are in Nicaragua or with the island properties on Ambergris Caye, Belize, Belize's largest island. And these places are so outstanding because there is actually a glass bottom floor in these over the water bungalows that are offered in Belize. It really is pretty outstanding. It's really just like a cutout section of your floor, and then you can cover it with a carpet if you want to.
Yeah, I think it's a little trippy for you. Yeah, you cover
Yeah.
it with a carpet if you
Yeah.
want to, but otherwise you're able to look down and see the marine life there. And where that property is located, it's really a reserve area, which is what we're going to be really producing out there. We're in the process of planting mangroves and doing some restoration projects, which is exciting. But mangroves are where fish breed. And it's pretty neat because you're going to be able to see the little fish there and the bottom of your floor by looking through the glass. So it's a really neat area on the island here.
Watch the fish swim by when you're in your living room. Yeah. And just a reminder to the listener, to the viewer here, these are tiny homes. They're called tropical tiny homes, not tropical palaces. So that is one reason that they're so affordable. They're a few hundred square feet. Like Rachel mentioned, some of the price points starting at under 100K. And, Rachel, the more I talk about this, the more interested I personally get in it. In fact, Andrea from here at Get Rich Education has already bought some of the tiny homes herself. So who is the typical person that's buying? Oftentimes I know that they're a North American. So tell us more about that typical buyer.
Sure. So we've seen a variety in demographic. North American has been our biggest demographic of buyers just historically as a company, but we are seeing now more folks from Australia, New Zealand, the UK, people who want an escape from their home country, a plan B, or just simply want a fun vacation rental in another country. Some folks are looking at it really from that investment perspective. And I think tiny homes generally will rent well in the marketplace because they are unique, they're different. They have that full kitchen. If somebody wants a kitchen, there's a living space there. They're within a community. So there are amenities, there are things to do. But in addition to that, we're also seeing people who want to come and go as they please. And what I thought has been really unique to see is the owners who are owning in multiple locations. So we have a client who just signed on actually from your show here, Keith, and she's going to be owning there in Panama and also Nicaragua. And for her, Panama is really going to be more of a come and go, come and visit every now and again at her own leisure. And then the one in Nicaragua is going to be the rental home. And so it's neat to see that because some people are looking at it from different perspectives, but owning in multiple locations. And then of course we have the person who wants it to be their primary residence or wants it to be one of their primary residences where they're living in it or there for extended periods of time. And I think due to the affordability, we've seen owners that are younger than what we've seen in some of our other projects. We have a Marriott that's going up here in Belize, and those started about 350, 400,000. And so when you're comparing that sort of product to a tiny home with tiny homes starting under 100,000, you're able to access a different market. And we're both young, and it's neat to see young folks who are coming in, and we do have financing and people can use cryptocurrency and gold and just get creative with how they own. But it's been neat to see this young demographic of people who are coming in who don't necessarily need to be mega millionaires or have a huge liquid net worth in order to move forward. So it's neat to see there's definitely a variety of folks, variety of ages, people from all around the world. This has definitely been one of our more global projects compared to some of our other properties and neighborhoods historically.
You really make those prices approachable for people. And here at Get Rich Education, cash flowing real estate is a central theme. And you talk about how some buyers want to utilize their property. So talk to us some more about that, because oftentimes one might be interested in using it a few weeks a year as a lifestyle amenity. And then that owner might also want to rent it out for most of the year. Is that how most buyers are doing it?
It is, and it's a variety. I would say so far it's probably about 50-50 actually, 50% are looking at it from the cash flow perspective, and the other 50% are looking at it from the lifestyle perspective, where they'll either live in it, they'll come and go as they please. We have a couple of different rental programs, just depending on what the client ultimately wants. We have the investor rental program, which is really geared towards somebody who's looking at this from an investment perspective. And they have 6 weeks of usage, personal usage per year, 2 weeks during the low season, 4 weeks during, 2 weeks during high season, 4 weeks during low season. And then we have the lifestyle rental program, which is geared towards somebody who wants to come and go as they please. And there's no restriction as to how often they can be there and how long they can stay. But the homes that are in the investor rental program would be rented first. And then anything that is left over in terms of needing a home would be rented out if they were in the lifestyle program. So we do have those options, which is neat. I know that, I've been in real estate for almost a decade in this part of the world, and something I've noticed is that there really isn't always that sort of flexibility that the owner wants when they own it. I know that for many times we let emotions get in the way too when we're buying real estate in the tropics. And when you're coming to Belize and you're coming to these real fun, awesome places, it's easy to get emotional about it, where, all right, I want to come down here and spend as much time as possible. But think about, a lot of people who listen to this really are real estate investors. You are people who have tenants who pay you on a monthly basis, and you typically don't want to spend time in that home, and it really is cash flow for you. So
Right.
you have to be realistic with whether or not you're looking at this from an investment perspective or you're looking at it from the lifestyle. If lifestyle, then understand you may not necessarily be cash flow, and you may not be making your money back. You may have to pay every month in order to cover expenses and utilities and whatnot. But there's just great options for those who are looking at this from an investment perspective. Maybe take advantage of the 6 weeks of personal usage per year or not, but know that it is there if you do want to come on a getaway. And 6 weeks is, when you really think about it, it is a good amount of time. It comes out to
It
about
is.
a month and a half. So I think most investors will probably not be spending that much time in their home, but you have the option, or and just goes into the rental program when it's not being used.
So it's a great way to enhance your quality of life, your cash flow as well, and be diversified in another country. And, Rachel, you guys are such experts there when you develop these communities of keeping that community orientation in mind, and also having things for people to do, whether you have one community that's proximate to fishing, or another one that's close to hiking trails, or another one that's very conducive for people that are interested in gardening in their community and things like that. And there's also a residency option. We don't have time to get into all that, but you may be able to obtain a second residency in one or more of these nations as well. But if this sounds of interest to you, visit getricheducation.com/tiny homes. That's where you can get a report that Rachel put over there for you. You can see everything from the price points to, of course, photographs and floor layouts, and also a look at pro forma cash flows if you are interested in putting your property into the renter pool as well. Well, Rachel, this has been really dreamy stuff to talk about. Thanks so much for coming on. Again, if it sounds of interest to you, check out getricheducation.com/tiny homes. Rachel Jensen, it's been so fun. Thanks for coming on to the show.
Thank you, Keith. Bye, everyone.